Then, so you see the various reasons for the types of potatoes. So it's important to have all these varieties because they're all different applications. So they all behave differently. The next thing I like to do is to take the Amarosas and the purple police and the climate pearls and do a discussion about this. Maybe Dan, would you mind bringing these bowls up here? Thank you. So this particular version is that we take these colors, and this is also a different application. I would use.
接下来我用那个 Colorado Rose 或是那个 Purple Please.
Yeah, and then I would use also the Amarosas in this as well. And what you're ending up with is a raw potato slaw, like a raw potato salad. And you get unusual to have a raw potato in an application like this. And I'm using this tool for that. And actually, I'll do that real quick here. So what I'm going to do is take that potato and this same tool here, and it's going to make a sheet. And again, the nice thing about this is that it's unusual to have a raw potato as a salad. And then in this case, because of the colors, it's quite nice. So we have and with the skin on, again, the skin is very tender on this potato. Also, you have a lot of the nutrients on this potato in the skin. So then what we're doing is that for a salad application, in terms of what I like is like a seared ahi tuna with this is a garniture. Yeah, it's this one right here. So a seared ahi tuna, and it's a nice condiment, almost like pickled ginger. So what we're going to make is a very quick pickled raw potato salad. So I'm taking rice wine vinegar, a little bit of sugar, and a little bit of fresh coriander. This has a kind of a sweet sour effect to it. And so what you do is just basically take these potatoes, and get a very pretty color on the purples. Any of the waxy varieties work well in this application. I prefer the waxy ones as opposed to the mealy ones. So what's quite nice is that you can take a raw potato and pickle it in really a matter of maybe 3-4 minutes. It's very, very quick. And so the application is nice. So you would store these in water so they stay crisp, and also keeps them from oxidizing and turning brown. And I can tell you what, I'm going to put an Amarosa on there just to put from a color point of view. As soon as I have it. The Amarosas are quite pretty in there. And as you can see, it's quite quick to do that.
很快的就可以把它处理出来。
And again, you have this really nice color, just a beautiful color.
非常漂亮哈，非常鲜艳的颜色。
It's just unbelievable. It's just such a beautiful color, and the combination of these together is just spectacular. So what you end up with is essentially just a nice raw potato salad. And again, you have a waxy variety, so it's not very starchy at all. It's very clean tasting, very crisp texture. So it ends up looking like that. So it's quite a nice presentation in terms of something as a quick garniture, and of course the application would certainly be up to you as far as how you might apply it. For me, I do like the seared ahi with it. But again, one thing to remember on this is that the high vinegar content or high acid content, if you were to store these in the vinegar for, say, more than 15 minutes, it'll be very, very soft. It'll change the texture dramatically. Now, that texture is not a bad thing, but it will change it to, instead of a crisp type salad, to more of a soft type condiment, like curry ginger might be.
So you're not supposed to...
It's okay. It depends on your application. Like, if you want a crunchy texture that's kind of light like this, then maybe 3-4 minutes in this vinegar dressing is all you need. So you can make it to order very nicely, very quickly, have a great color, and again, a completely different type of use for potato. The other variation that you can do from a garniture point of view, if you take a channel knife and score it down the sides like this, in stripes, and then they look very much like petals of flowers. Very pretty looking option. The next time we'll take a look at is, this will be another unique application. Actually, let's start with, The varieties that are, this would work with both the mealy and the waxy varieties. This is called a potato espuma. An espuma is basically, this happens to be a white Italian white truffle espuma, and it's really just potato pureed, or I use a ricer. And actually, let me go to this real quick here. Is that it's very important when you process potatoes that you process them in the correct way. Potatoes have a starch in them that if you overbeat them, they become gluey. So minimum handling is important in terms of beating them into like a puree or like a mashed potato. That's very important. So typically, I use a potato ricer or a food mill. This happens to be a ricer with a small screen on it. So the small screen is going to have a nice fine texture. A food mill, which is a rotary one, it's kind of more like this, like this big, but you put the potatoes through it. The food mill will also remove the skin from the potato for the most part, so you don't really even have to peel them. You just put them into the food mill, spin them around, you get this beautiful, light, fluffy potato that works equally as well with the Yukon Gold as well with the russet variety. So what I did is I took the Yukon Gold potato and I made it an espuma. And the espuma is basically a thin potato puree with a little bit of heavy cream and a little bit of white truffle oil and maybe a little salt and pepper. And this goes into this is called a thermal whip, which is a nitrogen charged canister, N2O current canister. And I put 2 charges in this, which is and this is also used for whipped cream. You know, this N2O canister charger. And what's great about this thing, you take potato. Do you want to say that? This application, what I'll do is that you can serve it as an hors d'oeuvre perhaps, and then this could be a version of it. But basically, you take it and just go. And this is very, very light. It's essentially like snow. But this is white truffle oil and then potato, and you can maybe perhaps garnish it with smoked salmon, a little bit of caviar, anything like that. That's quite nice. This is also a great application for a sauce. If you were to do, say, the salmon, once that salmon is cooked, see, I don't have a place. And you can probably see how light this is.
You use a Yukon Gold, right?
This is Yukon Gold. Extremely light, very fluffy and airy, but makes a wonderful sauce and very luxurious. And then you can serve that with fish or meat. Or even in a souffle form, but it's quite nice to do it that way. So just very light. And see this. You can see the steam coming off of it. This is very hot. This canister will keep the potato hot for about 4 hours. This is a thermal container, has 2 walls in it, so it's very much like a great application for potato in a sauce form or an hors d'oeuvre form, or you can fill it into a shell. It'd be terrific into, say, like a baked potato and then top it with this espuma. Very nice.